Hi, hello sewing friends. Welcome back to another Cotton Cuts video. This is Puzzle Mystery Quilt for Carnival, large Clue 6 in the Fortune Teller colorway. It feels like it's been so long since I've recorded a video, but I guess now that Village Green is done, I'm only, doing one, one mystery quilt, and those ship at the end of the month. So it was like, man, I'm expecting another Clue, but here we are. In February, I think, is when Tree of Life ships, so we'll be back to doing multiple puzzle mystery quilts at a time. Okay, so let's go through our inventory, and then we'll get started on section 6A. It does look like we have two styles of blocks for this clue. So here we have 12 fabric A, and these are all going to be your small triangles. So 12 fabric A, 10 fabric B, 16 fabric C, 10 fabric D, 12 fabric E, and 4 fabric F. Again, those are all your small triangles. You're going to have 2 fabric A in a larger triangle. You have 4 fabric A and 2 fabric F in the small rectangles. We have a kind of medium stout fabric B rectangle. There's going to be 2 of those. You're going to have 2 fabric F squares, a thin, longer rectangle of fabric A. There's going to be 2 of those, and then 2 of your really long, wider fabric A rectangles. And that's it. Okay, so for step 1.1, section 6A, we're going to grab 2 fabric A triangles and 2 fabric C triangles, and we're going to sew them together on the long edge, and we're going to press down towards C, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we're just pressing our seam to fabric C, which is the darker fabric for me. I'm not using steam right now. Doesn't mean that I won't in the future. All right, so this is how they're supposed to be oriented. That's step 1.1. Step 1.2, we're adding the longest A rectangles to the left of our half square triangles. Make sure that your fabric A in your half square triangle, the point is oriented upper left, and C is bottom right. And we're going to sew the A rectangle to the left of the half square triangle, and we're going to press towards the rectangle. Okay, so this is the end of step 1. This is 1.2. So pressing the seam to the left towards the long rectangle. And there we have that. That's step 1. Go ahead and set that aside. Okay, for step 2, I'm going to do all of the half square triangles all at once. So 2.1, you're going to grab 2 fabric D triangles and 2 fabric A triangles. And then for 2.2, you're going to grab 2 B triangles and 2 D triangles. We're going to sew these on the long edge, and we're going to press all of our seams up. So 2.1 is going to press towards A, and 2.2 is going to press towards D. And I will meet you back here when I'm done with all of these half square triangles. All right, let's get these 2 half square triangles ironed. Remember, for 2.1, we're ironing towards fabric A, setting our seam towards fabric A. And then for 2.2, we're ironing our seam towards fabric D. Okay, for step 2.3, really, this is all 2.1 and this is all 2.2, but I'm breaking it up. So we're going to take our 2 fabric A small rectangles. You should have 4 in your inventory, but you're going to take 2 of them now and sew them to the right of your half square triangles we made for 2.1. Remember, A should be top right, so your fabric A pieces should be matching. Then for 2.2, you're going to take your fabric F, 2 rectangles. Again, sew them to the right. Fabric D should be top right. So sew fabric F to the right of your half square triangle, and we are pressing 2.1 seam to the right towards the rectangle, and then we're pressing 2.2 seam to the left in towards the half square triangle. Okay, so here we are setting up for step 2.3. Remember, fabric A rectangle seam goes towards the rectangle, and fabric F rectangle, that seam goes in towards the half square triangle. So this is one of those ones that you're going to have some bulk where this joint is down at the bottom. So take your time. If you have to use some steam, like I'm going to do, go ahead and use a little bit of steam. Watch out. It's quite warm down there, so watch your fingers. Okay. All right, and so just the way I've laid out the fabric is just the way, let me move these up for you. Is just the way you're going to sew them together. These 2 seams right here should nest based on the way you ironed them. So we're going to sew them on this seam right here. D and A is on top, B and D is on bottom. Sew them together, and then we're pressing our seam up towards D and A. Okay, so we're going to iron all of our seams up towards fabric A. I just decided to do both of these with you because why not? It's just easier that way than having to go back and forth and mute the mic. So I do have to say that I know that I don't have a ton of videos in between cotton cuts, but in a couple of days, probably, I'm not sure if these will release on Thursday the 11th, but if these are out before the 11th, I will be flying to see my mom. My mom has a medical condition that we just found out about right before the new year, so I will be traveling to stay with her for a while. So there won't be any interim YouTube videos. I don't know how long I'll be there. So that's, it's difficult. I'm going to miss streaming and sewing, but I'll be bringing knitting and stuff along with me. So, if I'm not back before Clue 7 will be delayed. Okay, so this is step 3. So basically step 3 and step 4 are a lot of half square triangles. So 3.1 is this set right here. You're going to need 2D and 2F triangles. And then for 3.2, you're going to need 2B and 2E triangles. You're going to press both your seams up. So they're oriented the way they are in the instructions. So you're going to press your seam up towards D and this seam up towards B. And I will meet you back here for pressing and then the setup of step 3.3. Okay, so here we are for ironing. Anyways, I know I gotta drop that bombshell on you all about my mom. So, yeah, I'll be away. If you want to keep in touch in Discord, we do have our Discord, or I have a Discord available that we can keep in touch. You can always just comment on a video if you need it, or you can go to my Twitch channel, and there's a link in my panels to join the Discord so you can keep up with everybody in the community. But lives will not be happening while I'm gone. She lives in the middle of nowhere. Internet's not that great, at least for streaming. Okay, so now that we've ironed our half square triangles, we're going to set up for 3.3. So you're going to take your unit for 3.1, fabric D and fabric F, and you're going to place that on top of your unit from 3.2, fabric B and fabric E. We're going to sew these together and we're going to press up. And I'll meet you back here when I'm done. All right. So this is the end of step 3. This is going pretty quickly. I mean, it's all half square triangles. So we'll see. We'll see how long this video is. I always forget to like make a blurb at the beginning where I'm like, hey, that's how long it took me. I always put it in the panels though. So don't forget we're pressing towards D and F, which are, for fortune teller, are our kind of yellow and orange fabrics. Oh, it's kind of bubbly right there. Okay. All right. So we're going to set those aside, and I'll set up for step 4. All right. So step 4, very similar to step 3. This unit is step 4.1, so you're going to grab 2C and 2D triangles. This is 4.2. You're going to grab 2F and 2, you have them upside down, 2F and 2B triangles. So we're going to sew all of these on the long end, and we are going to press down. So we're pressing towards C and we're pressing towards F, and I will meet you back here for pressing. Okay, let's get all these half square triangles ironed. So remember, for 4.1, we're pressing towards C. This happens to be my darker fabric. I'm really intrigued at how this puzzle mystery quilt is going to turn out. I know that there's a lot of people who will, like, I think they kind of, like, pull their blocks out and they try to figure out how they're going to go together. And I don't. I didn't for Village Green, and I probably won't for this one. All right, step 4.2, we're pressing towards F, which is my funky flower pattern. I was really impressed with how Village Green came together. Sorry if you can hear little Miss Luna. She's kind of hovering, waiting to see what I'm going to do. There's not enough room in here for her to be out of the way. Okay. Take these 2 sets of half square triangles that we just made, C and D, F and B, all right, and we're going to orient them just like this. C and D is on bottom or on top. We're going to sew them together, and then we're going to press down towards B and F, and you're going to make 2. All right, so now we have our 2 units for step 4.3, pressing towards fabric F and fabric B. Sometimes it's hard to see how these are going to turn out on the instructions versus what they look like on my ironing table. Okay. All right, so here we're putting it mostly all together. So step 5, we're going to grab all of our half square triangle units. So we're going to grab 2 through 4, steps 2 through 4. So your step 2 unit is going to go all the way on the right. Then our step 3 is going to go next to that. And then our step 4 is going to go next. So it's going to go step 3, step 4, step 2. Step 3 is going to be on the left. Let me just move this. Okay, so that's what it should look like before you put it together. So I'll go through the ironing right now, but we'll do it together. So you're going to sew this seam together, step 3 and step 4. Sew this seam together, press towards step 4. Then you're going to sew step 2 to the right of that unit, and then you're going to press in towards step 4 as well. So both your seams are going to go in towards step 4. I'll meet you back here for ironing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and iron all of these with you. So I'm going to start from the right hand side. This is the step 2 block that I'm ironing into the step 4 unit. And another thing I forgot to mention is that your step 3 and step 4, these seams should nest up here, which is really nice. One of the things that I love about Cotton Cuts and the pre-cut units and their instructions is that they do really take into consideration nesting of the seams, which really makes it easy if you're a non-pin user like me, or even if you are a pin user, to make sure that your seams are locking in together. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the left edge, and I'm probably going to rotate my block 180 degrees because that's just easiest for me. And I'm going to just rotate it and just kind of let my fabric do its thing. I am probably going to use some steam here in a second, but lifting it up and down, when I lift it up, it gives me a good visual of how the seams are laying in the back. So if I have to adjust, I can. So I'm going to hit this whole middle section right here with some steam. And I'm not dragging my iron, I am lifting it. All right, so that's one of the units. We'll do it again. I'm going to start from the right hand side, set my seams, flip it over, and then just gently work my seam over with some heat. There's no steam to start. You can if you want. If that's your jam, use the steam. I personally love using steam. So, like, no shade, no nothing, no judgment. Use your steam if you need it. All right, so now we're going to rotate it 180 degrees. Again, setting our seam. And then just working that seam into the middle. And then using some steam to just really get these points crisp. Perfect. Okay. There we go. We should have 2 of those. Oh, that's... All right. So we're just going to set straight up for step 6 because it's easy. We're going to take our unit we made in step 1 and attach it to the bottom, and there are no nesting seams here. So if you see that your half square triangle seam and your rectangle seam are just going to be in the middle of one. So there's no nesting. You just attach it to the bottom and we're pressing up. So you're going to probably want to use some steam once we press. But I will meet you back here for pressing. All right, so this is the end of section 6A. This is exciting. I have taken some breaks, so I can't really give you a good estimate, but I have been recording for about an hour. And one of these seams back here on one of my blocks got a little wonky, but that's okay. All right, so we're pressing towards all the half square triangles. We're pressing towards the unit we made in step 5. Just trying to give it a little bit of steam to relax things. I'm just going to go from the back. Just a little bit of encouragement to press and lay the way we want it to. There we go. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one has, oh good, it worked out. One of these seams right here got a little weird when I was trying to iron or trying to sew. And so I wasn't sure if it would end up laying the way I wanted it to. But looks like we succeeded in all things. And it's absolutely okay to iron from the back. All right. There's your block from section 6A. And you'll have 2 of these. Just like that. And we'll set these aside because we're not going to use these again until we start to put the quilt together. So this is a great time to pause the video, take a break, refresh your coffee or your water, stretch, hydrate, whatever you need. But I will be back after I've set up for section 6B, step 1. Okay, so welcome to section 6B, and I hope you got enough time to stretch and refresh your water or your coffee or whatever you need. Again, we're going to be making a lot of half square triangles. This unit is larger than 6A. It's about 8 steps. So let's get straight into it. You're going to need to pull from your small triangles 2 fabric E and 2 fabric C for 1.1, and then 2 fabric E and 2 fabric D for 1.2. We're going to sew all of these on the long edge, and we're pressing down towards fabric E. Okay, so we're going to do all the ironing together. Remember, we're pressing everything towards fabric E, which makes it easy. So press towards the same fabric color, fabric style. What if you're following along and you're not doing fortune teller, it'll be whatever that fabric E is. For us, it's this really pretty, like, I think it's blue. It's like a blue floral with butterflies. I'm obsessed. I love it. I really think I'm going to love this quilt when it's done. Does anybody have any guesses for what colorways I picked for Tree of Life? I picked 2. We're doing a large and a small. And I think, so the last video I said I thought that the ones that I picked had sold out, but they hadn't. One of the colorways I picked just sold out this week. So hint, hint, if you're paying attention to their Facebook or Instagram page. Okay, so for step 1.3, we're going to take 1.1, place it on top, which is this one. We're going to place it on top, and then we're going to place 1.2 on bottom. So your E fabrics should alternate. So E and D should make a triangle, if that makes sense. So we're going to sew them together, press up towards fabrics E and C. All right, we are pressing up towards C and E. Also, if you're watching this before you do the blocks, these two seams right here, your half square triangle seams, will nest. And I love that. It's one of my favorite things. For me, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say there's nothing more satisfying than a nested seam, but it's really, it's really good. There's a really, high satisfaction I get from nesting seams, and then once my blocks are done, make, that end of step 6 for section 6A, when the rectangle and the half square triangle are exactly the same size as the half square triangle unit, is very satisfying. I don't know. What gives you the most satisfaction when you're quilting? Is there something super simple that you are just oh, this is so good? Let me know. All right, so step 2, very similar to step 1. You're going to grab 2 fabric C triangles and 2 fabric A triangles for step 2.1. And then step 2.2, you're going to grab 2 fabric E triangles and 2 more fabric A triangles. We are sewing them on the long side. Step 2.1, we're pressing towards fabric C. Step 2.2, we're pressing towards fabric A. So basically the way they're oriented on the instructions, just press them down. And I'll meet you back here when I'm done. Okay, let's do step 2. Remember, 2.1 is going towards fabric C. Since both these half square triangles have a fabric in them, just be mindful of which one is which. So 2.1 is going towards fabric C. And then 2.2 is going towards fabric A. I even have it laid up, oriented the way I want to iron it. And I even turned it upside down. It's okay. All right, so then we've got 2.2. I know ironing this together will lengthen the video just a little bit, but I think it's good. I get more time to talk about things other than the directions. Okay, so we're going to orient 2.1 on top. C is pointing down, should be touching fabric E. So we want fabric C and E to create a triangle. Your A's are going to be on the outside, kind of like a flying geese unit. Flying goose. But we're going to go ahead and sew this together, C and E, and then we're going to press down towards fabric E. All right, here we go. We're going to press down towards E. This set of blocks also has, will nest. Your point right here will nest, which again, so satisfying. There are a few things in quilting and in bag making that really just make it satisfying. But for quilting, for sure, it's definitely nested seams. when they lock in perfectly, oh, so good. All right, I'm going to stop acting all weird. All right, so let's go to section 3, or step 3, not section 3. Step 3, we're going to be putting steps 1 and 2 together. So let's bring these down here so we can see them center screen. And this is what they're going to look like. You're going to place step 1 on the left of step 2. So your white A triangles should be on the right. And it's your B fabrics, your C fabrics should match, and your E fabrics should match. And then we're going to sew down this long edge, and we're going to press to the right. We're going to press towards fabric A, and you'll make 2. Okay, let's go ahead and get these 2 ironed. So we are pressing towards fabric A. Again, orient it whichever way makes it easiest for you to accomplish this. I like to iron with my right hand and use my left to adjust my fabric. So that's why I've turned my fabric around. And I'm just setting my seams real quick on the second one. And again, we're going to press that over towards fabric A. Once it's oriented correctly, you'll have pressed your seam to the right. I'm just going to make sure these seams are nice and flat. A little bit of steam. Okay. So that's step 3. Set it aside. All right, so for step 4, we're going to grab our 2 big A triangles. Then you're going to grab 2 smaller B triangles, 2 smaller C triangles, and your long, thin rectangle fabric A. All right, so there is no like 4.1 on this at all. So you're going to take your fabric B and your fabric C, and you're going to sew them to your large fabric A triangle, and then you're going to sew the rectangle to the bottom of that big A triangle. So I'm going to do all of the sewing, all of the half square triangle or the flying geese pressing, and then I'll press the bottom with you. As always with our flying geese, we're pressing out towards the smaller triangles. I will meet you back here when I'm done. All right, so for the finishing of step 4, we are just ironing our seam up towards our flying geese unit. Just like that. And I'm just gonna set the seam like I always do. All right, so there are my 2 units for step 4. Now, we're going to grab our step 3 unit, which had that 4 patch of half square triangles, and we're going to place that down. We'll make it so that you can see it. And then we're going to take our unit that we just made in step 4, and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees so that the points, all points should be going to the right. All of them. So your A rectangle should be immediately to the right of your unit for step 3. The A fabrics should all be touching. It should be making like one large arrow. So we're going to go ahead and sew this on the long side, and then we're pressing to the right towards the rectangle fabric A. Okay, so this is the end of step 5. I'm going to go ahead and iron this with you for both of them. So we are ironing towards the rectangle. Also, I turned off my noise suppression on my phone for recording. So if you can hear the rain, I'm very sorry. It is just absolutely January in Washington State. It has been raining for days. I want to go out and take the lights out, lights down, but I know that I'm just going to be soaked after I do it, and I don't want to. But because I'm going out of town, I need to make sure that I do it today or tomorrow. Today being the 9th of January. Okay. Oh, let's grab them both. All right, so that is step 5. We're going to go ahead and set that aside. We're not going to use it until the very end. Okay, for step 6, 6.1, you're going to grab 2C and 2B rectangles, and we're going to sew those together on the long side, press towards B. Then 6.2, we're going to sew all 3 of these together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the whole step. We'll come back and we'll iron these, and then we'll join them for 6.2. It just makes the most sense in my brain. So pressing towards B for the wider rectangle or the longer rectangle, and then we're pressing towards B for our half square triangle. All right, so ironing for step 6. 6.1, we're ironing towards fabric B. Again, whatever that is for you, if you don't have fortune teller. For me, it's this looks like this very purple, dark purple, like topographic map design. And then for step 6.2, we're ironing, again, towards fabric B, that pretty topographic map. And then finishing of 6.2, we're going to sew our half square triangle unit to the left of the rectangle and square. Make sure that your fabric B triangle is matched up to your fabric B rectangle. And then once we've sewn that, we're going to press towards the half square triangle. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and iron this out. And we're going to set this aside just like we did the other block. Remember, we're pressing towards the half square triangle. A little bit of a tough intersection here. Not as tough as we have had in the past, but it's okay if you need to use a little steam. Okay, so this is what step 6 should look like. Set it aside. I'll go ahead and set up for step 7. All right, for step 7, this is going to use up the rest of your half square triangle, or the rest of your triangles. We're making a bunch of half square triangles. I'm going to just sew them all, and then we'll come back for the setup of 7.4. So 7.1, you're going to grab 2E and 2A. 7.2, you're going to grab 2A and 2C. And 7.3, you're going to grab 2C and 2E. So all the pressing instructions are a little bit different. So for 7.1, you're pressing towards E. 7.2 towards A. 7.3 towards E. So your 7.2 is the only one that's going towards the lighter fabric. But I'm going to go ahead and sew all these together, and then we'll press them together and then do 7.4. All right. We are almost done. I've been definitely taking my time on this block. With my impending trip, I just feel like I should rush, but I don't want to rush through these. And in true Rachel fashion, I'm going to be making myself a travel bag. Super quick. And right before, I'm going on a trip. It's all good though. I'm going to be streaming, it on Twitch. But it's just kind of wild. All right. So remember step 7.1, you're pressing towards E. 7.2, you're pressing towards A. And 7.3, you're pressing towards fabric E again. All right, so now we're going to take our E and A unit, put our small A rectangle in between. It's the last fabric that you should have, so you're going to be done. And then you're going to take your A and C fabric to the right of that, and then your C and E half square triangle to the right of that. So we're going to make one long unit, and then I'll meet you back here for pressing. All right, let's do this one together. So I'm going to start from the right. It's just easiest for me. So take your, we're ironing towards A and C. So I'm starting from C and E. We're ironing in. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at the instructions, and there is no pressing instruction for the small rectangle after A. So after this half square triangle. So I'm just going to press it in towards the rectangle because it doesn't matter and it's easier, which I feel like, why not? So then our next seam, which is going towards the half square triangle E and A, you're pressing towards the left. So basically I took all of my seams and I'm pressing them all to the left. Let's do that one more time. So we're pressing from right to left, all seams to the left. So this wasn't so bad. I think this has taken me, we're getting close to 2 hours. Again, I've taken my time. I've refreshed my coffee. Obviously that's not going to translate in the video because this is the one that I cut down super heavily. So I'm assuming maybe the video is going to be about 25 to 30 minutes long. All right, so that's step 7. And now we just have to put it all together. So we're going to take step 7, and this is going to go to the bottom. All right, that's the bottom piece. Step 5, that had the half square triangle and flying geese block, that's going to go in the middle. All right, again, all points are going towards the left. No, towards the right, my bad. All points going towards the right. And then we're going to take that block, or that unit that we made in step 6, and that's going to go on the top. I'm going to try and move this down a little bit so that you can see it. It's quite a tall block. All right, so step 6 goes on the top. Your F square is going to be on the right, with your half square triangle being on the left. Then your middle block is going to be the unit from step 5. All points should be pointing to the right. And then the bottom is going to be your unit we just made in step 7. So we're going to sew all of these seams together. When we get to pressing, we're going to press away from the middle block. So we're going to press up towards step 6 unit, and then we're going to press to the bottom towards the step 7 unit. I'm going to press these with you, so don't worry about it. But I'm going to meet you back here when I'm done. All right, friends, it's the end of clue 6. All right, so we're pressing all of our seams outwards from the middle. So I just kind of set it up so that I can just open my block like a book. Most of these seams should have nested, except for this one on the bottom. There's no additional seam that it meets up with, so that's why we pressed it in towards the rectangle, because it didn't matter. But take your time. Use some steam if you need to, like, get it to relax. All right, now we're going to go out on the second one. So this is technically the top of the block. And again, just using some steam. I know this thing has super great steam, so you get to see it and hear it. I've already talked about this iron a couple of times, but I have not been disappointed in this iron yet. I love it. I think it's wonderful, and it's really affordable. All right, so let's check the back, make sure the seams are all laying the way we still want them to lay. That one is kind of done a number. This one went ahead and twisted on us. So sometimes you just have to give it a second look at the back just to make sure that things are laying the way you want them to, because things can change. All right, now we're going to go to our second block. Again, I'm just going to stand here and I'm going to set my seams real quick. Give it a nice press, and then open it like a book. Again, we're going to use some steam to relax those seams, get them to lay out the way we want them to. Oh my gosh, for a second I panicked. I saw that and went, oh no, did I sew them wrong? I did not sew them incorrectly. We're fine. Everything's fine. Even if I did, I could go back and fix it. I also really like this iron because this is the, what is it? The spray function, but your steam is like a little, kind of like a little trigger underneath the handle, and I really appreciate that. Instead of having to figure out which one. I've had a lot of irons that the two buttons are on the top and you end up pressing the steam and the spray at the same time, and it just makes a mess. So anyways, love this iron. Okay, let's check the back. Make sure everything's laying the way we want it to. This seam is trying to do something fun and funky that we don't want. All right, so once you're finished, don't forget to take a picture with your flat Nancy. Let me grab 6A for us. So this is the finished block for 6B. And then here we have 6A. we are all done. Whew. Okay, so recording time, 1 hour, 57 minutes. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Again, the next one might be late, depending on how long I'm out at my mom's. We'll figure it out. I will put a post up on YouTube, and on my Instagram when I know what the timelines look like for me to be out there and when I might be coming back. So I hope you all have a great day. Happy New Year. And I hope you all had a great holiday season. If you're wherever you are in the world, if you celebrate the holidays in December, let me know what you guys did, how it was, if you had a good holiday. I hope everybody did. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.